Hi, what's going on everyone? And welcome to another video. And my last video was actually based on Python dictionaries. And someone actually commented on that video, and then he or she said that they did not actually understand the bit of it, okay, which was a kind of a word. Could it be that I possibly did not actually explain well, or he wasn't actually paying enough attention to be able to understand that? And the way that he dropped that comment wasn't actually a comfortable thing for me. Okay, so the way he dropped the comment, I wasn't actually all that satisfied with that. Okay, but I told him just thanks for watching. Okay, so what I basically want to do in this video is I just basically want to like throw some light on that particular topic, which is Python dictionaries. Okay, so I want you guys to basically understand that when we're talking about Python dictionary, talking about lists, talking about set, we are basically talking about data structures. Okay, that's just basically the topic that we're really talking about, because we have data structures in Python, and then under that data structures we have something like list. Okay, we have something like set, we have dictionary, we have tuples in that particular topic. Okay, so that's just what that is. Okay, and for instance, this is actually basically the first one or the second one that we talked about. I think we basically kind of touched on that of the what is it called, on a list a little bit. Okay, but we haven't actually done everything in list. Maybe in the future we're actually going to do that. Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to like explain a few things. If this were actually something like list, if we were creating a list, we wouldn't use this particular curly bracket. Okay, if you are working on list, we'll use something like square bracket like this. Okay, I want to take this away, make sure that I take this down here. Okay, right here. In fact, I think it's better to actually create a new page so that I can actually show you what I basically want to show you guys. So what I'm going to do right now is that I want to make sure that I revert to the original thing that we had on this page, and then I want to create a new page right now. Okay, I'm basically going to call this something like a Python dictionary 2. Okay, that's just what I want to do right now. Let's call this dictionary 2.py like that, and let's go ahead and open that up. Okay, so the first example I want to basically show you right now is that since we are talking about data structures. Okay, if you're talking about data structure, let me just do data structures right here. Okay, so we basically have a few things that we're going to be taking a look at. Number one is actually called a list, and after that we have another one that is actually we could call this the topic that we're really dealing with right now, which is actually dictionary. Let's make sure we type dictionary correctly, and we also have something like I think we'll have tuples. Okay, so we also have tuples, and the next one right there is actually, I think it's called something like sets. Okay, so I think there's still another one that we also have that I can't actually remember that right now. Okay, but that could still be like the fifth data structure that we have, and we basically are going to also deal with that as we move along. But for instance, let's say we want to deal with this one called a list right now. If we want to create a list, really very simple. How do you do this? Let's say I'm going to create, let's call this something like shopping underscore lists as a variable, and then you want to go ahead and then if you want to create a list, you basically want to go ahead and then I want to take this and then put it right here as a topic. So let's make sure we do put that as a comment right here. Okay, and then call that something like a list. Okay, so that's just basically what we want to deal with right now. And if you don't know what lists are just a group of other collections of items that can actually contain elements of different data types. Okay, that's just what lists is. Okay, and if you want to create a list, if you create your variable, the first thing you want to do is to throw in your square brackets. Okay, remember that with that of the dictionary, we normally throw in our curly braces this way. That's basically what we did, right? But if you're creating something like a list, what you are going to basically throw in is that of your square bracket, and then you can within this particular place begin to create the items that you basically want to create. Let's say something like I'm going to create something like apples right here. You can get out of these and then create another one. Let's say we have something like banana like that, and we also have another one. You can go ahead and create something like milk. Let's make sure put that in quotes, guys. Remember that I mentioned that it's actually you just different characters. Okay, I mean a data type. You can also put something like let's say we're going to put something like 24 right here. Okay, that's what actually makes it different characters. Okay, you can actually create different data type rather, so it can actually accept different data types. Okay, so with this right now, let's say for instance you want to print this out right now. It's really very simple. If you get down here, you can just use your print command right here, and you can go ahead and then you can put this particular variable that we're having here right now into this particular bracket. Okay, and if you do that right now, you're going to basically get this particular list on down here. For instance, if I save the changes right now, and then I right click on this and then click on run dictionary 2, you notice that we'll have all of the list down here, right? That's a list for you. Okay, but if you want to access, let's say I want to access this particular thing in here, this is just basically, you can also look at it just something like in other programming languages, you have something like array, and in counting of arrays, they are actually basically zero based. So the first one apple here is 0, this one is 1, and this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so if I get in here, throw in my square bracket, and I put something like 0, if I save the changes and then try to run that right there, you're going to see that I'm going to basically get apple. Okay, because apple is the first item on this particular place. That's the first element. If I want to get this one right here, that's in position 3. So I'm going to just throw 3 right there, save the changes, and then run that code again. And you see that we get 26 right there. So that's just what list basically is. Okay, and without wasting much time, let me just comment this out, comment these lines out right away. And what I want to just basically throw more light on is going to be that of the dictionary. Okay, so I'm going to copy this right now and then put that. Let me also comment this particular line out, put it just right down here, and then we can actually deal with that of the what is it called, that of the dictionaries again. Okay, so if you're creating the dictionary, remember that I said that you are not going to be using square bracket like we used in creating that of the sets, that of the list right here. Okay, you're going to basically make use of a different character, which is actually curly brackets. So I want to create a variable right now. I'm going to just call that student, and I want to set that to this curly brackets right here. And then within this curly bracket, I can now go ahead and then begin to create quite a few things that I basically want to create. Okay, so for instance, let's say I want to bring in the name of a student. So I want to just say name, and then this is how it's actually structured. I'm going to add a colon right there, and I can go ahead and name that student. Let's say that this person is actually called a James. Let's say James Eze, like that. And we can introduce a comma in down here. Then we'll get on the next line, and if you want to write them on the same line, it's also you are also free to actually do that. Okay, but I just want to make that a little bit readable. So the next one is actually going to, let's just call this age, and with age, this is actually going to contain something like an integer right here. Let's say that this person's age is actually 21, so I'm going to enter 21 right there. See, everything in here is actually it's just basically a string, and then down here we have this integer to be the value of this. Okay, remember that they are key value pairs. This is a key, this is a value. Okay, this is the value of name right there, this is age, and this is the value. That's why it's actually called a key value pairs. I explained that in the video that the guy said he did not actually understand that. Okay, so you can reference back to that for the definition and quite a few other things that you can actually capture. Okay, so now we have age right there. We can also do something like major. Let's say that this person is kind of a major in something like computer science. You can actually do that right there. Let's make sure our colon in here, and you can, in quote, we can just say something like computer science, like that. Okay, and we can also set other things if we want. Let's say we want to set, basically, let me just stop at that particular point right now. Okay, let's say you want to print out all of these things that we're having here right now. You want to see the dictionary. Okay, you can do that down here. If I do a print right here, we can go ahead and then pass in the student, which is a variable that we'll have up there. So I'm going to just do students, and let's save the changes. And then if we right click on this right now and then click on run dictionary 2, if you take a look down here, you see that the dictionary has actually been printed for us. We have the first name value pairs right here from here to this place, which kind of the name of the student, which is James Eze. And then we'll have his age right here, he's 21, and then we'll have major computer science. Okay, and I know that this can a lot of times confuse you guys and as to what can I actually do with this type of lines of a code or the result that I'm actually getting from this. And that's just coming from the angle of the people that want to just basically go and then begin to build their big projects when they want to start out programming. And the truth is that it's not actually done that way. You need to start out just a little bit, do the basics first. Okay, just take the time. I know that doing the basics is a kind of a boring, but that's just basically how to really do that. Okay, if you want to learn how to actually make use of a particular language to the core, you need to start little. Just build these simple things. Do go through all of these little things that we're actually doing right now before we begin to build big projects. Okay, otherwise you'll be setting yourself up for a lot of confusion in the future. Basically, if you jump this particular step and then begin to build those big projects that you are talking about, there will be a time that you are still actually going to come back to this and then begin to learn this afresh. Okay. So that just like you going back to what you should have actually learned before going in for big projects. Okay. So I applaud you guys, just patient. We're gonna build some interesting projects in the future, but you need to just go through all of these basics right now before you can actually get into that which your mind is actually telling you guys right now. Okay. So that is that, guys. So this is how to get the dictionary printed out. And let's say for instance you want to access let's say you want to access a particular dictionary or a particular key value pair rather within this particular place. You can actually do that. I'm going to just put a comment in here and say let's say how to access a particular value page. Okay, so let's put a dash here, just say value page like that. If you want to do it, it's really very simple. I'm going to copy and paste that. Then we'll have this right now, but then we're going to introduce something like a square bracket right here to give us a room to include this key right there to be able to print whatever line that we want to print. Let's say we want to print out the person's name. We can go in right here and then throw that in on that particular line. If you save the changes right here and then run the code, you're going to see that we're going to actually get James Eze. Okay, so let's do that. I'm going to right click on this, run dictionary 2, and then you see that we have John is right here. Okay, and then this one is actually showing up because I haven't actually commented this line out right here, so I think it's necessary to comment that out. And now run that again, so we just have John is right here. Okay, this is just basically how this is done. There are some situations where you would have to collect maybe the student data and then put them in something like a database. Okay, and then fetching them from that database, they may come out as something like dictionary or something like an array. Not really an array. It may come about as something like a list. Okay, then if you want to begin to access them, maybe you want to say hi to somebody or maybe a logged in user. This is just basically how you can actually do that. Okay, how you can actually access all those things from the database. Okay, so just be sure that you are really on the right track, you are doing the right thing. You don't have to rush yourself and don't just be too in hurry to build those big projects yet. Okay, you just have to stick with the basics. Okay, so that's just that on how to really access a single line or a single key value pair. Okay, so that's just that on that line. Now the next thing I want to do, if you want to access the age, is also possible. You just basically need to just change this to age. Let me change that to age right now. And if we run, you see that we'll get 21 right there. The same thing applies to the major if you want to do that. Okay, pretty simple, right? Yeah. All right. So I remember I also talked about how to modify a key value pair. Let's say, for instance, you want to change this person's age to something else. We can also do that. I want to comment this line out first of all. I put in a number sign in there, and then if we come down on the next line, let's say we want to modify the age. We can just bring in the student's variable. First of all, we want to get that, and then we're going to throw in our square bracket in here, and then we can actually say something like age, which is the right thing that we have in there, and then we can go ahead and set that to be equal to the new age. We want to basically set that to, okay, let's say that his name is now 18 years. We can just go ahead and enter 18 years right there. Okay, so that's just that. If you want to print that out, you can basically print this particular line out. I'm going to copy this and then paste that down here, then save the changes. I want to right click on that and then run this code. You see that if you take a look in here, you see that the person's age is now 18. Okay, so we've modified the person's age right now. Okay, so let's put a comment here, just say how to modify a value right there. Let's just say, let's call that a value. Okay, so that's just basically how you can modify a value. Okay, it's really very simple, guys. It's really very simple. If you want to also add, I also talked about adding something. Let's say you want to add something like the person's let's say it's going to be his GPA. If you want to add that, is also possible. We can get down here. I want to copy this right now and then comment this particular line out. I'm going to put this right here and also put this right here. Okay, so down here to I'm going to create something like a comment right here and just say something like add, let's say add a new value pay, like that. Okay, add a new value pay like that. And if you want to add that, it's very very simple. All we need to do, I'm going to paste what I just copied and I want to change this from age to something like let's say we're going to call that to GPA. Let's say his GPA is actually going to be something like, let's say it's going to be this is going to be 3.7. we can do something of that nature. All right, so right there, so if we save the changes right now and then we'll try to kind of print this out, we can, I'm going to just copy this and then get on the next line basically want to go ahead and then print student, you're going to see that CGPA, his GPA is actually going to be added to the list. Okay, so let's just right click on this and then run that code. And if you take a look in here, you see we have the first one right here. We have his age, we have his major, but now this is the one that we just added. So we added his GPA right now, which is 3.7 right there to the list. And I think this is really very simple, guys. This is really very simple. If you want to work on tuples, we also have tuples coming up. So maybe basically that's just the next topic that I'm going to basically take a look at. Or if you want us to maybe take a look at list as a topic, we're going to basically take a look at that, because if you want to make use of that of the list, there are let's say for instance you want to add to a list. Okay, that is a way to actually add something to a list. We use a method that is actually called append. Okay, we use a method that is actually called append to be able to add something to a list. Okay, append just this way. Okay, and then if we want to remove or delete an item, we use a method that is actually called a remove to be able to remove or delete an item. Okay, so maybe basically we're going to take this as a topic at a later time and then digest it. Okay, it's not going to take so much to really do this. It's just really very simple. You can even actually study that ahead of time. But if you want me to do it, just you can go to the comment section and just say just drop the word list right there. Okay, so I'm gonna just basically take a look at that and do that as my next video. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like the video, don't forget to actually give my video a thumbs up, and then thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye bye for now.